At Genoa Ventures, venture capital is our business, but our purpose is cultivating the exceptional leaders and visionaries who are turning impactful science into companies of consequence. One thing I love about entrepreneurship and about being a VC to support entrepreneurs is how it allows visionaries who see how the world could be, how it should be, to step outside of conventional permission structures and make something new.
One of the things that became really evident for us is that core to our thesis was really building companies. So when you're a new founder first starting a company out, there's a million things that you need to do in order to get the company started. And you have to go to a multitude of different sources to go find that. If you go into the ecosystem as it exists, that is pretty hard to do on your own and can be overwhelming. Typically at Genoa, we could do that if we have the bandwidth as partners to do that. But how do we leverage that out so that we can bring that capability to a broader set of science and so that a broader set of companies can become ready and we can in some sense get curated deal flow for Genoa? And that was really the motivating factor, one of the central motivations really of creating Genoa Inception as an institution, as a operating company that could partner with scientific founders and provide curated deal flow, but also provide guidance so that the companies that are built are companies that are built right and they're built in completely for venture readiness, particularly for investing by Genoa. The Hermes technology is founded out of the lab of Utkan Demirci. I've known Utkan as a collaborator first. I've looked at a number of companies before I even joined Genoa in there. And I've always been impressed with his acumen and his general sense of understanding of always developing technologies, developing solutions to solve market problems. And Hermes is no different. He sort of recognized the problem of exosomes and the fact that exosomes being, we sort of colloquially like to call them the conversation that cells are having in shorthand amongst themselves.
Hi, my name is Paco Cifuentes and I'm the CEO of Hermes Biosciences.
Hi, I'm Utkan Demirci and I co-founded Hermes Bio with General Inception, and that's how I met Paco. When I moved my lab from Harvard to Stanford, we really wanted to get into early disease detection, especially with a focus in cancer. And extracellular vesicles was the gateway to it, but isolating them was very hard. And we had to first come up with the technology that would isolate them with high yield, efficiently, without manual intervention, and that's Hermes Bio.
If the mission for Genoa is really to start to look at important science that is going to help understand biology better, what better way than to understand and tap into that conversation that's really happening? And so if you want to think about the Hermes technology, what it is really is a way of being able to capture snippets of that conversation so that we can better understand what cell-cell interactions are happening and what the conversation biology is having with itself. That was really the genesis of it, is understanding what exosomes are and what the technology is and what it really allowed us to do. And knowing who Utkan was, we knew that the problem was definitely one that he had recognized before it was a real problem in there. So we got a chance to actually meet him when he was first starting the technology, but knew very quickly that it was definitely a concept, a lab prototype. It wasn't quite ready for venture capital. Neither was the market quite ready yet because the market still needed to mature.
I've created other companies and realized that the key component is building successful synergistic teams, and GI provided that with support, and it created a trusting and collaborative environment that could launch this technology into a product, which is a really challenging path and requires a lot of perseverance, and building a strong team is the key component.
I have been working with Genoa Ventures for close to 6 years, more than 5 years. From the very beginning, I knew that I wanted to actually come back to being an operational leader in a company, but I was waiting for the right opportunity, and It was very early on when I actually fell in love with what you were doing. What I was looking for was something that it was not just a very interesting and cool technology, but it was also something that it was fundamentally going to change how healthcare and it was done.
When we first make an investment, that investment is important to us for a number of different reasons. One, it's capital that we're putting to work, and we're, in order to be good stewards of the capital, we really have to make sure that that capital is maximizing its value. But equally important, we're partnering with scientific founders on their innovation, their life's work, and helping that achieve its commercial potential is incredibly important, because that's really why they're partnering with us, is because they have a belief that we are going to be with them every step of the way through that journey.
It is so hard. We know. We've been there as operators. We've walked the path, sometimes successfully and sometimes not. We've learned some of those lessons. We want to be there to help the next generation of entrepreneurs get there, hopefully faster and with fewer of the mistakes we made along the way.
Selecting the right partner in the journey is absolutely crucial, because we need partners that are gonna propel us, okay, and add fuel, okay, to what we need to do. And it's not only capital, although it is one of the main purposes of a VC, but it's also how they are gonna work with us, how they share our goals and our values. And I think that having a partner like Genoa that is so deeply scientific, and they really understand, okay, that what we are trying to do is really, really important.
We see an enormous breadth of applications for the innovation at the bioconvergence across industries and sectors. But there are some common threads that are all about turning science into products that go into markets where customers get their needs met. That's the kind of innovation that current industry leaders need to keep growing their businesses and stay competitive. So that sets up a natural partnership between entrepreneurial companies who are bringing bioconvergent innovation to markets and the strategics in those spaces who can provide industry insights, channels to market, even more significant partnerships as the companies grow.
This company is going to build products, but it's going to unlock many others to create other products that's going to impact millions of people, from diagnostics to therapeutics to early disease detection to treatment. So it's such a huge potential, and it's such a unique product that kind of simple but yet very sophisticated, that its impact is going to be tremendous.